so sorry I couldn't see you. Sorry for glutamine.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, I know. Mine was longer. No, that's fine. You can make it. I'm fine. I'll just stand back. Yeah, thank you.
What are you guys holding this for? Huh?
I have no idea.
Oh, you media guys. You guys come in here.
I wondered if it went with that row there and it was for an interpreter. Remember we had the sign language last time.
I'll interpret for you right now.
I'll tell you what.
So Callis and I asked Callis to give me a prediction of how many testifies.
What's the over and under now?
Really?
123 over. So I'd say like 23. At least, right?
Maybe like 30.
Wait, what do you say?
What's the total?
Total or here?
We'll find out soon.
And what do I win?
That'll say.
No, I'm thinking at least, I'm thinking at least $5.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't, looking at this, I don't know if they're going to be done tonight. I mean, they should stay till 9 or midnight. We've always done that in the past. But they would cancel tomorrow, who knows? So, and it's not a terribly long day tomorrow either, so I could see them saying let's jam for tomorrow and come back after lunch at 2 or whatever again tomorrow. Yeah.
But you know, I do see their point. After hearing testimony, because there's a lot of activists because a lot of them care, right? They want to hear what to say. And that can be draining, and then it's true to feel, because I try to pay attention to it, and then I feel at the end of hearing all that, I gotta regroup. I can't, my mind is mush.
It's overwhelming.
I can't think.
It is. Me too.
So I hear what they're saying about let's start deliberating fresh.
Yeah.
I see that. I can understand that.
I'm a little disappointed this many people showed up. I mean, we've been telling everybody, no, really, we've been telling everybody to just go fast. Sit down, say thank you, be nice, be brief, and move along.
Yeah, because I think you get the votes.
Exactly.
You get the votes.
Let's just get through this thing.
Because once Karen showed her hand, and as long as Endo stays true to what he said previously,
Yeah.
they get the votes. But I'm not going to forget.
Yeah. Because everybody's all pissed. Where's Jay? Where's Jay? I was like, we don't need him. We don't need him. Is everybody here today? No. Is he here now?
No, I'm sure he is. But he was on a trip to walk.
Oh, was he?
He left last Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't, he intended to make this meeting. He's going to do
Today, you think?
Yeah.
Right on. Good. Everybody would like to hear that.
He's not going to talk.
Wait, that's not true.
It's not Jay's style.
First of all, we don't need the vote. And second of all, he's down.
It's not Jay's
style. I know. They sent around all these emails that said, you know, Jay might try to postpone the vote and blah, 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 and all this. And newbies. Jay is the chair. He can't even talk. It's not going to be him. And now he's not even here today. I'm not worried about Jay.
We'll see what Billy does.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the thing. I only need 5 today. And then it depends on Billy Boy. If Billy's going to be like that, I'd like to have 6 or 7 today, but other than that, I don't really care. It should, right? I really don't think these people are going to sway anybody's vote. I mean, yes, they're still actively listening, but come on. You know? Well, this is pretty big. To be honest with you, I would say it's one. Now it's not but guarantee it's a 60-mile marathon at 8 acres. We topped out at like 3 hours. And they would come on and drop off, you know, throughout the 12 hours. I have actually this program is right now it's feeding out any camera I plug in, or I can set it so that I can frame out any part of my desktop. And so what I bring up the Aleo thing and just play it, and then I make a window around it, and it broadcasts that. And so then I can like move the chat up next to it too, and make the frame cover the whole thing, or just it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And you can do like, look, you can do like. To make a window around. Oh, you can't see it. And it's tiny down there, but and so then I can like move the chat up next to it too, and make the frame cover the whole thing. 3D mix. I can make the screen go like that. And you can do like, look, you can do like to make a window. Oh, you can't see it. And it's tiny down there, but and so then I can like move the chat up next to it too, and make the camera. There we are. Okay, see, playing with the Livestream, yeah. And first you have to download a Livestream account, Livestream, yeah? And then that's the service I use, and then Procaster. That's what you never broadcast anything on your because you can use that to capture YouTube videos or whatever you download or whatever, right? And we do that, we'll archive a lot of stuff just so that it's archived somewhere.
You never know.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh my goodness, Miss Nubby is here. I didn't know she was coming. Fancy. Gosh, I should take a picture with a good camera. That's what I should do. Oh, and I brought you one back.
We'll break this if you can, but it looks like you already got the place full.
Sit outside.
Thank you. Mics are live. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 26th session. This is a special meeting of the Hawaii County Council. We are in Hilo at the council chambers. Today is Tuesday, November 5th, and the time is 2 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. And Mr. Clerk, can you please read the roll?
Ms. Ford.
Here.
Mr. Legal.
Present.
Mr. Kern.
Here.
Mr. Onishi. Ms. Poindexter.
Here.
Ms. Willie.
Present.
Chair Yoff.
Here.
Chair Yoff, there are 7 members present and 2 excused.
Thank you. Just for the audience, the Chair Yoshimoto is in transit, and Mr. Kanuha is also in transit and will be in Kona, joining us by video conference in about 10 minutes. Ms. Poindexter, would you lead us in the pledge?
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to remind everybody to please turn off your cell phones and pagers or turn them to silent mode.
Madam Chair? Madam Chair? Are you going to set like a time limit to what I'm going to end of testimony for today?
Thank you. At this time, we don't have an end time. I'm hoping that we can finish public testimony today, but it does state on the agenda that public testimony today is limited to 2 minutes, and we will urge everybody to please try and summarize before you get to the 2 minutes so we don't have to cut you off, and if possible, be as concise as possible. We've heard a lot of testimony, and we do want to get through this today and through the public testimony as soon as before it gets too late today. And there's another thing I'd like to remind you of. We do have a council rule that allows for one person to represent several, and so you can designate a point person who can read the names of those that they're testifying for, and that way we can also save time.
So you're not gonna be setting a time?
I don't have an end time for the.
You don't have an end time, so you're gonna just continue taking all testimony?
My plan was to see where we're at in a few hours, and I'd like to, at that time, take a short recess and discuss it among ourselves how we'd like to continue.
Because you got my letter.
You,
I have a community meeting tonight at 6:30.
you have to leave at 6:30?
My community meeting is at 6:30, so I'll be leaving like about 6, a little after 6.
Okay, you have to leave at 6, and Mr. Kanuha has to be somewhere at 6 as well, but would attend that meeting and then come back, he said.
Can we discuss that portion as we get closer?
Yeah.
No,
Prior-
I'm
prior
just
to
seeing
that.
what the plan was. Okay, thank you.
And then I have one more clarification point. You said that several people can come up, one person can come up and represent several people. And just to make it clear that it's just basically 2 minutes. If they're representing 4 people, they don't get 8 minutes.
Thank you for clarifying. That's true. Ms. Willie?
Clarify that if they're reading names of people who aren't here, that goes against their time. But if there are people that they're representing who are here, they can stand up and they can refer to their name and where they're from, and it won't go against their 2-minute time. So because you all get up as a group, don't think that that's cutting back on your amount of time.
So what Ms. Willie is stating is that if there are several members that would like to stand and be recognized, we won't start the testimony time until we've identified the people that are being represented, if they're all here, and then we'll start the time when the person starts to speak. Correct? Okay, thank you. Council members, is it all right if I proceed with statements from the public? I guess just so we can get an idea of how many people are going to testify. So far, we have approximately 9 or 10 here in Hilo. How many do we have in Kona?
Madam Chair, we have 7 in Kona.
Okay. And Waimea?
Madam Chair, we have 5 at this time.
Thank you. Kohala?
Good afternoon, Chair. We currently have 13 testifiers.
Thank you. Pahoa, do you have testifiers?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. We have 15 testifiers here in Pahoa.
Okay, thank you. And Ka'u? Ka'u, can you say that again? Or speaking to the mic?
One testifier here in Ka'u.
Okay, that's one testifier. Okay, thank you. I'll start here in Hilo and we'll just go rotation. I'll take 2 at a time from each site. So my first 2 testifiers here in Hilo can please come forward. Dr. Kim Kozuma and Nomi Carmona. You can go ahead.
Aloha County Council members, I've listened to the reasons for passing this bill prior to forming a committee and I'm shocked by it. If passed, this council is putting more weight on junk science presented by the slick, well-funded anti-GMO activist movement citing the precautionary principle.
Excuse me, could you state your name for the record? I'm sorry.
I apologize. I'm Dr. Kim Kozuma.
Go ahead.
Okay. Does this council feel comfortable in passing a law which will have devastating economic effects despite the scientific research community repeatedly stating studies have not detected any hazards connected with the use of GE crops? For the people who still choose to believe the anti-GMO claims, examine their sources. The precautionary principle has a corollary. What damage are we doing by passing this law? Think about it. Do the risks outweigh the known devastation to an entire industry responsible for over $500 million in ag income? Or the public, which will bear a 20% increased food cost, and the cost to the county, including defending itself in multiple lawsuits? Equally repulsive, this special interest bill caters to the 2% of our farming community, producing only $7.4 million of our state ag income. Bill 113 will hurt over 4,600 farms that put food on our tables in favor of 93 certified organic farms. Bill 113 discriminates by selectively mandating registration and charges an exorbitant amount for the privilege to do so. This bill inflicts draconian penalties in gross excess of other penalties across the state. Is it fair that only the GM farmers have to register and pay fees? Think about it. If the niche segment of organic farmers feels threatened by GM, then they must bear the burden of growing their crops in a greenhouse. USDA puts the burden of mitigation onto the certified organic farmers, not the majority of conventional farmers feeding everyone else. This county bill gives special privilege to a small select group in direct opposition to federal law. We can and must respectfully coexist to survive. Either kill Bill 113 outright or form a task force first, use science, not political activism and fear to pass laws. Thank you.
Thank you. And excuse me, I'm just going to check with our timer. Was the first signal 30 seconds?
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, so the only signal they're going to hear is when 3 minutes are up?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
I can't see the light from, sorry.
So if you watch, you'll see a yellow light. That means there's 30 seconds left, and then the sound means your time is up.
Thank you.
Aloha, Hawaii County Council. Thank you for having me. My name is Nomi Carmona. I'm the president of a statewide political nonprofit called Babes Against Biotech. I'm here representing 12,000 members. And unfortunately, we're not incredibly well funded, as some would like to believe. We are a nonprofit. So we work extremely hard to get the word out. And I'm here to ask for your support for Bill 113. I'd like to bring up a couple things I think are really important. There was just a major study released by Harvard and Johns Hopkins, a number of other international universities, saying that whole genes can transfer from diet to blood, to the point where they found one fellow who was eating as a vegetarian had more plant DNA than human DNA in his blood. So we do need to think about what we're consuming and what we're promoting. And if you look at what's happening on the other islands that have the GMO experimentation, the devastation is huge. In Kauai, there is 10 times the national average rate of gastroenterosis, which is where the baby's intestines grow outside of the body and may be linked to atrazine. So right now we're fighting just to find out what's happening, what's being sprayed on us, and what they're experimenting with on other islands, and you don't want to be in that position. So I'm asking you to please protect yourself. You're the last major island without this open air experimentation, and I can say firsthand it has devastated other communities in other islands. I'd also like to bring up over $520,000 of GMO chemical company money into the funds of our state legislators. If you delay, I do believe they'll try something again, like SB 727, to strike the county rights to protect its citizens' life and health, which actually made it through the Senate last year. So time is absolutely of the essence, and as the largest queen bee exporter in the world, we need to be very careful and monitor those pesticides which are related heavily with GMO use, so that we can continue to do that and provide pollination for our crops. This is an invasive species, as I've made clear to you before, and this is the endangered species capital of the world. So please exercise your home rule. I am so blessed and honored to know this council, and please pass this bill on behalf of all future generations. Mahalo.
I'm going to go to Kona. Your first two testifiers, please.
Okay, our first two testifiers today, Julie and Douglas Rideout, in support of Bill 113.
Hi, my name is Douglas Rideout. I've been a resident of the Big Island for 40 years. I have 11 grandchildren here. I go to great lengths to avoid GMO food products because I've read the studies of what they can cause that were not funded by the biotech industry and Monsanto in particular. I'd like to cite one recent study, which was the first study ever to examine the long-term or lifetime effects of GMO products on laboratory animals. It seems astounding that this was the first test ever done, and that the FDA and the U.S. government approved them without any lifetime studies of what they cause. Here are some of the shocking findings from the study. This was, by the way, done at the University of Caen. Up to 50% of the males and 70% of the females suffered premature death. Rats that drank trace amounts of Roundup at levels legally available in our water supply had 200 to 300% increase in large tumors. Rats fed GMO corn and traces of Roundup suffered severe organ damage, including liver damage and kidney damage. The study fed these rats NK603, the Monsanto variety of GM corn that's grown across North America and fed widely to animals and humans. This is the same corn that your corn-based breakfast cereals, tortillas, and snacks are made of. This was the first long-term animal feeding trial and resulted in serious impact feeding GM corn and the herbicide Roundup in a combination of both that resulted in extremely serious, in male rats, there was liver and kidney disorder, including tumors. Even more worrying were the female rats, where the mammary tumors were at a level that is extremely concerning. Up to 80% of the female rats had mammary tumors by the end of the trial. I would like to think that you can look back, if any of you vote to stop this bill and somebody in your family gets breast cancer in the future, you may not feel good about that anyway. Thank you.
My name is Julie Rideout, and one of the things I would like to add is that they often say that GMO crops are bigger yields. This is not true. In India, an organic rice farmer was able to produce 22.4 tons of rice on a small 2.5 acre parcel. Traditional methods often give much greater yields than the GMO products, which are now having major problems with corn borers and super weeds that they are unable to control, even with all the major chemicals that they put on the crops. The pesticides just alone are very toxic, very poisonous, and the GMO crops are designed to use with larger and larger amounts of pesticides. As my husband pointed out, the studies showed that internal organ damage is one of the first problems caused after eating GMO foods. Kidney damage, liver damage. In Hilo, someone pointed out the gastroenterology problems with intestines, and all these things happened after the GMO crops were prevalent and growing everywhere all around. Hawaii is a unique environment. We need to protect it from being just one of the parts of the country that's just like every place else. We have a lot of specialized food products, specialized animals, and if those things are not protected, they will disappear, they will be damaged, and then where will our tourism business go? Because we have nothing unique left to show people or offer people. I personally avoid GMO products. I avoid them for my family, and I will continue to avoid GMOs and buy organic. And I just would like to make it clear that GMOs may be considered the wave of the future. If that's the case, it'll be here in 20 years. But we will have a chance to make certain that what we do plant is safe for people to eat. And I'm done.
Thank you very much. I'd like to go to Waimea next.
I'd like to introduce Edie Bickel and Terry Wynn. They represent themselves. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Aloha, my name is Edie Bickley, and I have testified several times regarding this GMO issue, and I am in favor of Bill 113. Instead of repeating all of the things I and so many others have said, I would like to ask you to consider the following. We live on a big and for the most part pure island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Can we please be responsible citizens of planet Earth and keep it that way? There is a reason many countries have banned GMO. Not enough research has been done. It seems a lot more pesticide spraying goes along with these crops. Take a look at Kauai and the serious consequences the people are facing. Poison dirt is blowing everywhere and entering the streams and ocean. I believe in organic farming methods. Our big island could be a shining example of a community saying no to big ag corporations. We then need to create jobs and self-reliance by starting our own seed companies. Pure organic seeds will be in huge demand as GMO crops continue to pollinate and pollute other farmlands. Our county council has the unique opportunity to just say no to GMO. Thank you.
Aloha, my committee and I favor the complete eradication and ban of GMOs, but we'll settle for Bill 113 for now. And I think that all of the data and the studies and the scientific research has already been presented ad nauseum as to the hazards of GMOs and what the chemicals that are associated with it are doing to our land or water and our air. And so I won't go into details about that, but I would also like to remind all our public servants from the bottom up, from the council to the mayor to the governor and beyond, of your oath to the Constitution. And I'd like to also remind the people that have elected these representatives to voice our concerns, to learn about the Constitution, because if we don't know our rights, then we don't have any. So it is vital that people look at the Constitution and how we can utilize it to retain our freedom. Thank you.
Thank you. Kohala, are you ready with your first two testifiers?
Okay, Landry and Anna. You're going? Sure.
Kohala.
Good afternoon, Chair. Our first testifier is Te Aloha Sugiyama, representing himself, speaking in support of Bill number 113, Draft 3, GMO.
Go ahead.
Aloha. I am Kealoha Sugiyama, and I'm here to ask you all to vote yes on Bill 113. First, I want to awaken you from the many testimonies which might have put you in a daze. This vote resonates all the testifier voices in favor of Bill 113 and asking for your yes vote. And to remind you, the purpose and intent of Bill 113. Voting yes on Bill 113 simply means you are taking responsibility for the health and welfare of the people of the County of Hawaii, and also taking responsibility for clean air, drinkable water, the island for sustainability, and the sea for its abundant supply. Businesses with the likes of Monsanto that are soliciting your support comes only with their profit and loss statement, and not with life-sustaining features. In case you can't see or we're clear on this Bill 113, I have flashlights for all of you to see you we're clear on Uamau Kio Kaine Kupono. The life of the land and its people are in your hands. The second flashlight is for council members that continue to sit on the Kanaloa fence. And the third, who still don't know that this bill is not about the papaya farmers and all the exemptions. Mahalo.
Next testifier in Kohala is Maureen Combs, representing herself, speaking in support of Bill number 113.
Aloha. My name is Maureen Combs, and Aloha is a very hard act to follow, but I will try to just state clearly I would like you to support Bill 113. I have testified before with statistics. I don't want to do that again. I want to bring up my history in clinical research on the mainland. This is where I made my money, in clinical research for medical devices. And I'm very familiar with the concept of substantial equivalence, which is how the biotech industries got their farm crops passed through the FDA early on in 1992, before there was very much science. And substantial equivalence basically says, hey, you know, we think it's pretty much the same as what's already out there, depending on what you test. They're not testing what we know they should be testing now. They tested way back. Does it have the same amount of vitamins, minerals? Is it pretty much the same? Well, on those standards, sure. But now we know. Now we're seeing the damage. It's been a while, and then we see what's happening. So we need to change the rules, and we need to not let them play their game now with those old rules, because we know those old rules aren't significant. They're not what we have to have them stand up for. They have to pass a higher standard. So please, support 113. Do not allow this island to be a testing zone. Make them prove their safety first before they come in and potentially destroy this land for who knows how long we ever get it back. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to check with PAHOA for your first two testifiers, please.
First, we have Mr. John Olson representing himself. Following him will be Mr. Dave Kaiser, also representing himself, both in support of Bill 113.
Yes, Madam Chairman, members of the council, thank you. I'm here in support of this bill, but I do have concerns in the modifications that have been made to the bill. And at this reading, many of the more significant controls that I'd hoped would have remained in place have been removed. And it doesn't quite address my personal concern. I'm not here to argue the science. I'm here simply because I believe I have a right to know what will impact me and my property, and what is in my food. And we're dealing with corporations and people who are denying me my rights to that information. I tend to believe that keeping it on your side of the fence makes good neighbors. These people are not in the business of keeping it on their side of the fence. Having been around a while, I remember when lead in your water pipes and in your gasoline was fine. I remember when DDT was not a problem, speaking of junk science. You know, this is a litany. Atomic power is for everybody. Now it's leaking like crazy. This is just another large corporation that has little concern for us out here in the middle of the Pacific. I would hope you would put those things back in that were taken out that control this organization and its representatives. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
I'm going to Mr. Kaiser on supporting it. I'm a little bit reticent about, let's see, there's one part here that says an emergency exemption, the development of when you got a non-genetically engineered crop or plant, and they said they'd accept, somehow somebody believes they would go crying for a genetically modified solution. I don't know of a single organic farmer on this island, or for that matter, just about anywhere else, who would want one. But I figure the only ones who would want anything like that would be some genetically modified people who would want to take one of our plants that isn't genetically modified and try to work its way into their plant. That's just the way I see some of the way the mind's working. You almost have to think like the enemy sometimes. But in another slightly lighter vein, I'm reminded of that little experiment somebody did somewhere. They took some GMO corn, your corn, and a non-GMO corn, and they placed them up outside, a place where the squirrels could get them. Squirrels came up and they found them. Took a bite out of the GMO corn, then they went and then they took a bite out of the non-GMO, and they picked that non-GMO corn clean. They knew exactly what they were eating. They didn't have to, they didn't need a label like we do. But they could tell. They know. And I also don't want my cat eating any GMO stuff either, so I might have to find another source, because if he gets salmon in the pipeline, he's going to have to find another one. Okay, well, my 30 seconds are up, so I mean, my 30-second sign just came up, and I haven't got anything else to blather about, so I might as well relinquish my chair. Patty?
Thank you. Ka'u, would you like to introduce your first testifier?
Yes. We have Renee Dufault representing Self and Food Ingredient and Health Research Institute in support of Bill number 113, draft 3.
Dear council members, thank you for your kind attention. It is clear there are many misconceptions about the risk assessment process that products made from GMO undergo. I have testified on several occasions on the bill before you. As a former FDA public health official, I have unique knowledge of the system in place to assess risk and regulate food safety in the United States. My expertise is toxicology. With respect to risk assessment of chemicals, including pesticides and GMO, as human beings, we simply do not have an effective risk assessment process to determine the cumulative impact of multiple daily exposures to chemicals, including pesticides applied to GMO crops. While spending many years working at the FDA, I learned a lot about the American food supply. I learned many food ingredients enter the market without testing on human beings, including products made from GMO. I learned the current risk assessment system does not work. Manufacturers pay the FDA millions of dollars in user and application fees to get a new drug, pesticide, or food ingredient on the market. Congressional mandates require these same fees pay the salaries of FDA employees. Monsanto and big business essentially pay the salaries of many FDA employees. The Fox now owns the hen house. FDA regulates pesticides in the form of GMO and used on food packaging. Yet manufacturers are responsible for conducting the risk assessment on the product or substance for which they are trying to gain FDA control. There is no human clinical trial data for most of the products in our market, including those made from GMO. I urge you to pass this bill and set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the safety of GMO. I urge you to ask Monsanto and the other biotech companies to provide the human trial data showing these GMO products are safe. I am here to tell you there is no such data. Corn sweeteners in the U.S. are derived from GMO corn. We just finished our most recent human clinical trial in which half the participants eliminated GMO corn sweeteners from their diet. Our manuscript will soon be published and shock the world. I strongly suggest that you pass this bill. You have everything to gain. You will keep your current seats, elected seats. The European community was right to take a precautionary approach on GMO, and so should you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ka'u, if you do have any other testifiers, can you just kind of interrupt us and let me know?
Yes, I will.
Okay, otherwise I won't check with you again. I'm going to leave you out of the rotation.
Okay.
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 Here in Hilo, our next two testifiers, Scott Enright, you can start.
Very members of the council. My name is Scott Enright. I'm Deputy Director of the Hawaii Department of Agriculture. And I have a statement from the Hawaii Department of Agriculture on Bill 113. The Hawaii Department of Agriculture strongly believes Hawaii's farmers deserve the opportunity to benefit from biotechnology to reduce production costs, combat diseases, and help achieve a broader goal of food self-sufficiency, and most importantly, to continue as viable businesses into the future. In the recent past, the benefits to Hawaii's farmers resulting from research and application of biotechnology and/or hybridization technology include the development of disease-resistant crops such as papaya, banana, and anthurium. Today, Big Island Dairy utilizes biotech corn seed that is planted, harvested, and fed to dairy cattle, reducing their cost of feed, making the operation more economically viable. It is the high cost of imported feed that played a major role in the demise of the dairies throughout the state and is threatening our other livestock industries for hogs, poultry, and eggs. Looking to the future, including the impact of global warming on Hawaii's agriculture, if the availability of biotechnology is prohibited, there will be no on-island R&D on drought-resistant crops such as pasture grasses that are vital to Hawaii's important beef cattle ranches and the state's drive to food self-sufficiency. In addition, there will be no on-island R&D in support of the growing biofuel feedstock industry that will directly assist in the energy self-sufficiency goals established by the Hawaii Energy Initiative. As pointed out by Dr. Maria Gallo, the Dean of the University of Hawaii College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, in an op-ed recently published in the Honolulu Star-Advertiser, it would be short-sighted to have a blanket ban on GMOs in Hawaii when we are faced with the enormous challenge of food self-sufficiency.
Thank you.
It is
Can you quickly summarize?
quickly summarize. It is imperative that the policy decisions such as that facing the County Council be made with a complete grasp of the facts and the potential ramifications. The Hawaii Department of Agriculture recommends that the Hawaii County Council consider undertaking additional discussion and information gathering by a working group that should include farmers and scientists, look at Hawaii County's diversified agricultural needs and the role of biotechnology and have to meet those needs. Thank you.
Mr. Shintaku.
Hi, my name is Michael Shintaku. I grew up on a sugarcane and vegetable farm in Kau here. My grandfather and father were farmers there. I received a PhD from plant pathology, in plant pathology from Cornell in 1991, and then I came here shortly after that. I'm faculty at UH Hilo. I'm not speaking on behalf of the university though. I'm speaking on just my behalf. I teach in the College of Agriculture. I teach genetics, plant pathology, and microbiology. I strongly oppose this bill. A thing should be banned because of a property, because it's dangerous, not because of the technology that gave rise to it. This technology gave rise to corn with insect resistance, soy with herbicide resistance, papaya with virus resistance. These crops are very different from each other, and the engineered traits are very different from each other. If there was proof that a thing was dangerous, if there was proof that BT corn caused harm, that crop should be recalled and banned, but not all transgenic plants. Right now, this bill is based on a precautionary principle. We don't know for sure a thing is safe, so let's not accept it. So these transgenic crops may be dangerous. We need to be safe, but one thing we know for sure is not safe is food. This past summer, 162 people, 5 in Hawaii, were infected with hepatitis A virus from organic berries. 71 of these people were hospitalized, almost exactly a year ago now. 33 people in 5 states were sickened by E. coli 0157H7 from eating organic spinach. 15 of those people were hospitalized, and 2 had kidney failure. Right? We don't ban all organic produce, even when something like this happens. We make them do a recall, clean up, make some changes, maybe go out of business. It would be ridiculous to ban all organic food because of some berries and some spinach. And it's equally ridiculous to ban all GMO crops. And nobody's even shown a connection between these crops and disease. The science is solid. The science is solid. And the last, I'll just very briefly, every scientific organization agrees that a transgenic crop is exactly as dangerous as its non-transgenic counterpart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to Kona. I'd like to call your next testifier, please.
Next 2 testifiers, David Case in support of Bill 113. And then we have Kelly Greenwell in opposition of Bill 113.
Aloha, Chairman Eoff and members of the council. My name is David Case. I am the president of the Kona chapter of the Hawaii Farmers Union United and the secretary of the state division of the Hawaii Farmers Union. And we're here today again to testify in support of Bill 113. Much has been said about the science relating to GMO. I don't believe that the science is clear, but the Hawaii Farmers Union takes no position on that. Instead, we want to focus on something that is clear, and that is the economic consequences of growing GMO foods or crops on other crops. This is not just a matter of the question between GMO crops and organic crops, but GMO crops and all other crops. And the fact is that GMO cross-pollination, as even the opponents of the bill have noted, is an issue. They point out now that all all crops have a potential to cross-pollinate. But that either misses or obfuscates the point. The point is that only GMO crops, when they cross-pollinate, can affect the economics of another crop. Most of the world, in fact, the European Union, Japan, Korea, to name a few, prohibit the importation of GMO or GM crops. and that includes crops that have been contaminated with GMO. So that is the issue for us. Do you preserve the option until you know the consequences of being able to market every other crop other than GMO crops that are grown in Hawaii? It is not a question of prohibiting these crops, but of being able to hold the place we're in now to be able to study the situation further. Bill 113 strikes the right balance that protects the right of Hawaii County's hundreds of small-scale farmers to make a living free from serious economic risks. In 2008, Hawaii County passed an outright ban on GMO cropping of taro and coffee that is still the law, and this bill does not alter that. As with coffee and taro, Hawaii County would be best served to act now to protect the economics of all of its local crops. Thank you very much.
My name is Kelly Greenwell, and firstly, I'd like to express my gratitude for the effort this council has expended on understanding the implications involved in regulating the inclusion of genetic modified organisms in our agriculture. And specifically, I'd like to thank Ms. Willie for bringing this issue to light. With all due respect for both sides of this GMO issue, however, I think it boils down to whether Hawaii is seriously willing to participate in developing the science of maintaining a sustainable food supply for the future. There is no question that both sides have exhibited legitimate and, might I say, warranted concern. However, in the final analysis, the real question is, do we participate in the evolving science of agriculture, or do we legislate against it? Yes, it would be nice to preserve the purity of the natural, but the reality is that the natural is long past, and we are beyond bringing it back. I oppose this bill because it delivers the message that our focus is entirely upon ourselves, and as such, contrary to our native culture, which characteristically displays outreach. Passage is also short-sighted in that global conditions will eventually impact us, as well as unfortunate in that proactive participation in the study of tropical agriculture is our most obvious and best suited mission.
Summarize.
Following the path of isolationism displaces us from an opportunity to participate in the future well-being of our planet, leaving us without a role in the development of world farming. Let's take up the challenge of being a contributing player, understanding that if world agriculture fails, it will first occur in the tropics, and most probably because we chose not to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Waimea?
I'd like to introduce Landry Fuller, who represents herself, and Anna Peach, who represents Squash and Awe. Aloha, council members. My name is Landry Fuller, and I am a health teacher at one of the elementary schools here in Waimea. I am here today in favor of passing Bill 113 on behalf of my students and all of the children on the Big Island. At school several weeks ago, more than 100 of my 4th and 5th grade students told me that they don't want to eat genetically modified foods. So they created 6 posters that we actually displayed outside the Civic Center at our hearing last month in Kona, asking you to ban GMOs on our island. The children are our future, and if we don't handle this problem with GMOs and their pesticides now, it will be a nightmare that we will pass along to them. I've heard the argument that we're going to be saving money now using GMOs. But think about the cost that you're going to have later in life, much higher costs for the medical bills after those GMOs have affected your bodies. My training is as an integrative nutrition counselor, and I have seen how this happens. So please pass Bill 113 so we can also serve as an example for other states and the rest of the world. All of you are aware that more than 60 countries outside the U.S. currently ban or limit GMOs. So why aren't we? I trust that you, council people, and Mayor Billy Kanoe care about our health. and will make the right decision passing Bill 113. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next testifier.
Hello, my name is Anna Peach, and for our council members, I'm the farmer that goes along with this heirloom squash flyer that's before you. I'm a squash grower here in Waimea, and I specialize in heirlooms. When I tell a room full of farmers that, I get a lot of raised eyebrows because that is one tough crop to grow commercially. Squash, that is, not heirlooms. And that's exactly why I'm growing it. Most Hawaii squash growers stopped growing 5 to 10 years ago due to so many pests and disease. I've been told time and time again that you can't do it without GMO squash. That's our only hope. I started 7 months ago, and I've been pulling nearly 2 tons from a 1/4 acre, and I barely use any water. I've been building soil. I also have bees in abundance. I don't spray anything, either organic or inorganic. The soil building costs me nothing, but a lot of shoveling. So we can do this, and we can reclaim this huge commercial market from Mexico. If I can do this as one person, we all can. I decided to look for a solution that would help us all, not just me. I didn't look to a laboratory for answers, but I looked to my own ancestors who have been farming in the U.S. for 167 years, and they farmed for long before that as well. I also looked to your history for an answer. It took me 5 minutes on the internet to find pure seed strains that date back centuries. To anyone in this room of Japanese descent, this is the food of your ancestors. This is the exact kabocha that your family ate in 1620. To me, that is beautiful. But unfortunately for all of us, we know squash cross-pollinates and that GMO squash are readily available. That means they would forever change the lineage of your ancestors' kabocha forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Pahoa, your next 2 testifiers, please.
We have Mr. Kirk Palmer representing himself. Following him will be Ms. Joyce Polena, also representing herself, both in support of Bill 113.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kirk Raymer, and I would like to support Bill 113. I feel the bill's maybe not quite strong enough in its penalties, but I'm a compromising person, so perhaps compromise is needed there. One of the first things I'd like to touch on is GMO's resistance to pesticides, herbicides, and disease resistance may be part of the large cause of the bees colony collapse. Richard Haw wrote in the newspaper saying that basically GMOs, they can control the pollen of the GMOs. The only way you can control pollen is if there were no bees and no breeze. So I don't think he's capable of accomplishing either of those things. I'm curious about the Hawaii Ag Department. We have the highest food costs in the country, so I don't see the benefit so far of 20 plus years of GMOs in Hawaii. And the UH gentleman who claimed to be just representing himself, working for UH, I'm curious if he's in the pocket of Monsanto, just to make it blunt. I think a big part of the question is whether these things are safe, and we just don't know. So the argument of let's go ahead with it and find out later if they're safe or not just doesn't fly with me. And so I say let's play it safe. Let's pass this bill. Amendments could always be made to it if it turned out that it was too stringent. I presume amendments could be made if it was found out that it's not strong enough. So that's all I've got. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Joyce Alberta Polina. I'm a resident of Puna. I'm in almost 30 years to the day resident of Puna. I love Puna. I love this island. The people here are very kind, and the ecology is very fragile and very sensitive. You're talking about doing something to this island that it's irreversible. I don't believe the FDA, I don't believe the EPA. I've educated myself with Jeffrey Smith's book, Genetic Roulette, and Jeffrey Smith's book, Seeds of Deception. And I can't believe that this gentleman, Mr. Smith, would write 2 rather large volumes unless you were absolutely sure of his information. He obviously isn't being paid off by anybody. At least he isn't being. I have 2 minutes. I don't know if I can cram this in 2 minutes, but I want you to hear something. And I urge every one of you to read this book. I also urge you to go to a website. The website is www.nongmoproject.org. Find the information that you need to exclude GMO products from your diet. You know, the things that can crop up as a result of eating GMOs are endless. The diseases, discomforts, the deaths. I refuse to be a guinea pig for industry. Pass this bill 113, draft 3. I feel this bill isn't strong enough, but I feel it's a bill that can pass. The FDA and the EPA are infiltrated by members of the biotech industry. The scientific studies that have been conducted in relation to GMO products are flawed. The iffy science of taking a .22 caliber GM gun and exploding it into a genome and getting iffy results are not acceptable to me and what I eat. Thank you.
Thank you. Here in Hilo, Jason Moniz.
My name is Jason Moniz. I'm president of the Hamakua Farm Bureau. Our membership includes farmers and ranchers, conventional, organic, and those utilizing biotech. The District of Hamakua, by value, produces 2% of the county's crops and accounts for 20% of the county's livestock and livestock products. Hamakua Farm Bureau strongly opposes Bill 113 Draft 3 as it continues to discriminate against and will hurt our local farmers and ranchers. Hamakua Farm Bureau supports all types of farming and ranching, natural, organic, conventional, and those using biotech, including the use of deregulated GMO crops. And in contrast to others you have heard from, we do not endorse one over the other. Hamakua Farm Bureau supports the University of Hawaii and PBARC developing genetic engineered solutions, including open-air testing to prevent diseases important to Hawaii agriculture. Bill 113 version 3 continues to fail to support its findings and purpose. After more than 2 decades of GMO crop production in Hawaii, there have been no significant cross-pollination issues and, more importantly, no uncontrolled spread of genetically engineered organisms as this bill proposes to prevent. All issues are preventable and addressed in Hawaii and elsewhere where GMOs are routinely grown. This bill, as written, discriminates against Hawaii County farmers and ranchers by prohibiting the cultivation of deregulated GMO crops that are available to every other farmer in Hawaii and the U.S. These crops are particularly important to the livestock and aquaculture industries that are in the process of moving forward to grow their own feed locally to support marketing livestock and aquaculture locally. It is estimated that a 60% reduction in feed costs can be realized over imported feeds. The introduction of this bill has already stalled progress for these agricultural industries. This bill combined with
summarize as quickly as can.
This bill combined with organized spread of GMO fear has already caused market damage for Hawaii farmers.
Thank you. Shelley Mahi.
Yes, hi, aloha. My name is Shelley Mahi. I just wanted to comment today. I am in support of Bill 113. I do need to make the following comments, however. First of all, I want to apologize to all the farmers here, all the Filipino farmers, Nana, Tata, everybody, because I'm worried about you. And I'm worried that there's bad science going around saying that GMO equals more money. when there is bad science, and obviously there have been tests and studies that do show there should be some major health questioning going on. Limited to 2 minutes, I want to go ahead and say I was a calf feeder at a dairy. I do know cows have to eat. I did go to the meeting with the Hamakua farmers, and they did say they would agree to using non-GMO, and if there was an alternative to herbicides and pesticides, they would agree to use that too. They just need help finding the alternatives. They don't have any right now because the Monsanto seeds are cheaper than the others. And my other thing that I want to apologize to the farmers is, I'm an American, but please do not believe that you must be sucked into the Monsanto system, which is later going to hurt your children, your babies. You could get tumors, you get all these things. You don't have to be part of the Monsanto system. Also, a lot of people do not know that there are differences in GMO. Also that you have where you're doing a hybrid of plants. Okay, that's not the same as GMO. This is a non-naturally occurring situation where you're inserting genes in. What I do not see in this bill is a complete ban on pork or pigs, genes into food sources. So that interferes with the United States constitutional rights. Also, it interferes with OSHA right to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And back in Kona, I'd like to note for the record, I see Councilmember Kanuha has been joining us from Kona. And I'd like you to introduce your next two testifiers, please.
Next two testifiers, Shannon Rudolph in support of Bill 113. Also, we have Gordana Leonard in support of Bill 113.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Aloha, Council. I love our farmers and ranchers. I'm not their enemy. I know that there are many other non-GMO feeds that they can grow. As for other farmers, I went to Costco the other day and saw organic sugar from cane that people were pulling off the shelf like crazy. I saw $20 cases of coconut water from Thailand. I'm not the enemy of farmers and ranchers on the Big Island. But mahalo and God bless the council for having the foresight to pass this bill today. I wish it was much stronger. GMO and pesticides are inseparable. They are from the same companies. Chemical exposure has passed through the generations. I watched a documentary this weekend from New Zealand farming communities. After 20 years, many of the people are sick. Stillbirths, miscarriages, birth defects, cancer. The same thing is happening in Argentina. The same thing is happening on Kauai and probably Molokai and soon to be Maui and Oahu. Hawaii is being poisoned by the chemical corporations, and we are just collateral damage to their bottom line. The buck stops on Hawaii Island. New Zealand, Argentina, Hawaii, and other places all show a similar pattern of legal corruption, lobbyists, misinformation, illness, subterfuge, denial, and suffering allowed by officials who are supposed to protect us. I blame all of our officials, our state officials especially, our legislators, for allowing this coup to happen and for allowing Hawaii to be poisoned. But that's going to change. Mahalo for passing this bill, Council. I'm very proud of you today for your vision and for doing the right thing. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Aloha. My name is Gordana Leonard. I have lived in Kona since 1999, but my family has been here for about 20 years. On a personal note, ever since reading two books in 1971, I became aware that food could be, in fact should be, our medicine. Now in my mid-70s, I can pretty much attest to that. Having said that, I emphasize that I am willing to go to all ends to avoid GMO foods. The milk and milk products I buy come from Wisconsin or elsewhere on the mainland. My corn is never from Waimea. To the best of my knowledge, except for GMO papaya and so far relatively limited GMO corn cultivation, Hawaii Island has to date remained GMO-free. This council has by now heard impassioned and rational reasons to allow or to disallow growing and or experimenting GMOs in our county. Considering that this is globally still a very contentious issue, I invite the council to vote in favor of Bill 113. We only have one cut at this. Please allow our island to remain, as much as is still possible, free of irreversible genetic changes potentially harmful to human health and or the environment, until, should it ever, the global community embraces GMOs. Thank you for hearing my testimony.
Excuse me, Kona, please, we're not allowing any applause today, so. And be sure you turn your microphones off after your speaker is finished. Thank you. I'm going to go to Waimea.
Good afternoon. I'd like to introduce Terry Markovich, who represents herself in support of Bill 113, and Janelle Williams, who represents her Ohana in support of Bill 113.
Mahalo, honorable county council persons, and I want to say mahalo for and commend you for having the courage to bring this bill before us. Good portion of my community, we work to encourage more local organic food production and education in that field. And I'm testifying today in support of Bill 113, banning further GMO engineered crops, and encourage all residents to work on improving the health of the environment of this island of Hawaii for all inhabitants, and healthy and keep Hawaii a healthy destination for visitors. The small country of Bhutan, they have committed to be a country of organic farming, and that's the country of Shangri-La, known as the home place of Shangri-La. And so please keep Hawaii, keep our Hawaii a paradise. Mahalo.
Aloha, my name is Janelle Williams, and I am here to represent myself and my family. Mahalo to the County Council, and especially to Willie Rice for bringing this issue to us. It's a very heated issue, and it's causing a lot of people to get fired up, which is good. It is good. I'm a mother, and I personally choose to avoid GMOs when possible. I am here in favor of Bill 113, as I said, and I especially am choosing to avoid GMOs now after having my daughter. Her health and safety has become my top priority, and so I've started a small herb garden as well. I see this bill as an opportunity to become more healthy and secure in my modest gardening, knowing I won't have to worry about cross-pollination from genetically engineered organisms if this bill passed. Unfortunately, our food system is flooded with genetically engineered foods, and it is not always easy to avoid them because they are not always labeled. And though there's companies that say they're organic or they're natural, that doesn't mean that they're non-GMO free. I have a right to know what I'm eating, and that when I buy seeds to start a garden, that they aren't injected with genes from a virus, a foreign species, or an insecticide. While a student at the university, I was immersed in the GMO issue, and I have seen the potential benefits, the arguments that they could feed the world. But as we have had GMOs for more than 20 years, we are not any closer to feeding the world. But we do have increased cancer rates, diseases, lower fertility rates, and accumulation of chemicals in our bodies. I urge you to pass this bill and to continue looking at the risks posed by genetically modified organisms, from foods to animals that we ingest and accumulate in our bodies. I want the right to choose, and open air testing of GMO crops limits my ability to choose. Labeling is another issue I hope the council will begin to look at as well, because it is our right to know. GMOs are not alike, but they are too much of a risk when very little testing has been done. Thank you for hearing this, and I hope you support Bill 113. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Alan, go ahead.
Is there one more in Waimea, or was that both of them?
We actually have 3 more.
Okay. I'll come back to you then. I'm going to go to
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Our next testifier is David Cottis, representing Mother Nature, Ka'aina, and future generations, speaking in support of Bill 113.
Aloha. I must say we have quite a disparity of so-called facts today from people that are supposed to be scientists. That's noteworthy. But apparently they've done very little research into the immense harm that has been done by GMO. For example, the thousands of farmers who committed suicide in India due to the total chaos from being forced to use GMO. In my opinion, GMO crops are man-made viruses that spread from property to property, infecting one farm after another. Like coqui frogs, there's no stopping them once you allow them in here. For example, birds eat GMO papaya seeds, then fly a few miles away where they excrete what they ate, namely GMO papaya seeds, well fertilized in bird poop. So if you council members allow GMO onto this island, you'll go down in our history books as extremely short-sighted, expletive deleted. While I have your attention, let me make a prediction. The biotech corporations will invade our island with man-made diseases which attack our bananas, mangoes, and other fruit trees. Then they will tell us that the only solution for those diseases, which they, the corporations themselves, secretly created, is to purchase their GMO crops and chemical sprays and poisons. Prediction number 2, it's going to happen to the humans to max out the profits of Big Pharma, Big Bio, and Big Brother.
Our next testifier is Karen Martinez, representing herself, speaking in support of Bill 113, Draft 3.
Thank you. Good afternoon, council members, and everyone else who's watching. This is my first time watching this, and I've been interested to see that everybody who is for GMO talks in terms of economics. Everybody else is talking about the welfare of our brothers and sisters on this planet. All I can see is it's really all about power and money. Nobody really on the other side is caring about our well-being, but it's money that all the power and the money that Monsanto has and is sharing with everyone to support them. We're talking 2 different things. And we've got to vote and we've got to take care of ourselves. Monsanto has no conscience. It's like a sociopath. No conscience whatsoever. And we have to recognize that. We have to own it. And we have people voting. And the historical factor is very important. You let GMO on this island, generations from now, we're going to vilify the names of the people that brought it to us. Not just Monsanto, but everybody who sold out and voted for this to come to this island. They're going to be in infamy. We had a day of infamy 70 years ago. Is this our next one? Really worth considering what we value. We value life. Thank you.
Thank you. In Pahoa, your next 2 testifiers, please.
First, we have Mr. Gregory Todd Smith, representing himself. Following him will be Mr. Greg Owen, also representing himself, both in support of Bill 113.
Good afternoon, Council. Aloha. We're talking about pseudoscience here. Well, Monsanto has been, more public relations than science for the past 70 years. Nonetheless, we talk about the negative effects of GMO on our industries. Honey production in this county and in the state has gone up over the past, 15 years, whereas milk production has gone down. And these are statistics from the National Agricultural Statistics Service, USDA. Is that authoritative enough for Mr. Iligan? Okay, the point of the matter is that one stupid dairy farmer on Hamakua could absolutely kill our burgeoning honey production here on the Big Island. Because, unfortunately, corn pollen spreads all over the world. In fact, scientists from our very own atmospheric laboratory, observation station here on Mauna Loa, that's NOAA, did core samples in the ice of both poles, and they found, guess what? Corn pollen. Okay. What happens is that bees have been negatively affected by ingesting Bt pollen from these genetically organisms, which is what is 300 acres is being now grown on the Hamakua side. And I just recently purchased 5 gallons of honey from a honey house on Hamakua, and now I have to seriously consider not picking up another 5 gallons next year, because guess what? That honey could be contaminated with Bt toxin, which causes disease. Mahalo.
Next, please.
We're going. Good afternoon from Mokuopuna. My remarks are mostly on GMO papayas. I would like to ask my friends and neighbors in the GMO papaya industry to consider that they are spraying poisons right next to families on rain catchment systems. Seems to me more spray is being used in the GMO papayas, but who is keeping track? Where are the records? Hawaii uses 10 times more pesticides than the national average per acre and 3 times more than California, the next highest, according to a front page article in the Hawaii Tribune Herald 25 years ago. Remember, in the 1970s, Maui Land and Pineapple killed 3 of their neighbors who had contracted leukemia after Maui Land sprayed lindane and heptachlor on their pineapple fields. From the road junction by Ormat Geothermal to Kupoho Crater Green Mountain is Pesticide Alley. Constant heavy spraying, especially in rainy times, happens ever since I've lived in this area for 36 years. I googled pesticides used by GMO papaya industry, and malathion comes out on top. This is a mild version of sarin gas, organophosphate, and a deadly nerve agent. Ag poisons do not just go away, they leave a toxic legacy. Heavy spraying also occurs of fungicide because of papaya fungus. Fungicides are killing all the bees which pollinate the fruit trees. My organic farm of avocado, breadfruit, and citrus, which I grow all without using pesticides. I need sea change in our agricultural policies. We need 10,000 organic small family farms, not GMO, monocrop, corporate chemical madness.
Thank you. Back here in Hilo, Orlando Manuel.
Good afternoon. My name is Orlando Manuel. I am a farmer. I strongly oppose this bill. If you pass this bill, it will kill agriculture in Hawaii Island. Slowly but surely. Thank you.
Thank you. And next is Amy Shiroma. Can you press the bar on the... There you go.
Good afternoon, council members. Excuse me. My name is Amy Shiroma. I am before you to please ask you to not vote for Bill 113. Again, please do not vote for Bill 113. My family manages a small tropical flower and livestock farm, and we do manage to regularly pay our share of general excise and withholding taxes, and are happy to keep on doing so. We do have quality products and do stand a chance of gaining more and better products if the scientific research is allowed to continue to discover ways to prevent any virus and or diseases from affecting the vegetables, the flowers, and livestock, as well as improve the quality of these. What I'm trying to say is, please let me, an 87-year-old widow, and all the other farmers, agricultural farmers, do what we believe to be good and viable living, which allows us to generate more taxes for our county and our state. Please do not kill the geese that keep on laying the golden eggs. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to Kona now. Your next two testifiers, please.
Next two testifiers, we have Claire LaPrinzi in support of Bill 113. Also, we have Janice Palma Glenny in support of Bill 113.
Go ahead.
Hello, Kako. I made you guys all late. I was so excited, and then I came down and I was like, oh yeah, they're going to be in Hilo. So I have you late, but at least Drew's here. Mahalo nui. And that's new beginnings, you know, when you use the avapui. So I gave the nicest one to Drew, since he is waking up, or woken up. So I just want to say, when I listen to the speakers and see the last 87-year-old woman, you are in the exemption thing, so your flowers are still in there. So you don't have to worry about it being taken away, or you're not helping with the taxes here. So you're already taken care of. Though a lot of us would wish that that wasn't. There's a lot of things in here that we wish that weren't. When I listen to some of the so-called genetics and educated person, well, I want to ask him, if you know genetics so well, how many babies have you seen and how many generations? Because, see, I've gone now 3 generations of helping babies with this defect, the same defect. So I want to say that's not true. And I'd like you to say that to a mother. And I'd like you to go and watch this film on Paretutu in New Plymouth. 5 generations. You're changing our DNA. So that's not true. And the rest of you, it's not just Monsanto. I mean, Monsanto's been out there for a long time. There's plenty of them. There's 6 of them. And how many of them, I'm going to thank, first of all of you in the council that you're going to pass this bill. I know you're going to pass this bill. Oh, some of my babies. So I know you're going to pass this bill. We got a lot of work to do. I'm happy about that. I know that we care about all the people here on this island. When we hear that you're going to, 30 seconds? I wasn't even going to go a minute. Okay, anyway, when we have a lot to do. We wanted all of you to stay healthy, and that's why we're working really hard to work with this organic method that's been here for a long time. Okay, aloha and malama pono.
Thank you.
Aloha, good afternoon. I'm Janice Palma Glenny. I'm speaking in support of Bill 113. I feel it's a no-brainer that the dangers and potential dangers of GMOs are too great to just say let's go on, get on with it, as international corporations would like you to do. As many others have been, I'm offended by recent expensive, fear-driven advertising on local radio stations claiming that even bus fares would increase if restrictions were put on GMOs. I hope that this body and the public will let the cattlemen's and other agricultural associations and bureau leaders know that the public isn't as stupid as they take us to be. New evidence that GMOs are making their way throughout our food, our bodies, and our planet continues to emerge. These organisms and genetic combinations have nothing to do with Mother Nature and the kinds of genetic combinations and mutations she creates and deals with over eons of time and generations. The GMO debate reminds me of the safe drug given to my mother in the 1950s to prevent miscarriages. It was called DES, and it was touted as a miracle. Not until my generation did it become clear that a huge number of the daughters of the women who took this untested, well, the science that was supposedly tested, would be unable to bear children themselves due to mutations to the shape of their uteruses caused by the drugs. Generations must pass before anyone can make claims that GMOs aren't harmful to humans and the planet upon which we depend. It's up to this council, that's you guys, to make sure that we await the proof of real, long-term science rather than succumb to economic fear-mongering. I am and have been in the horticultural and agricultural business in Hawaii for over 3 decades. The ag organizations that claim to represent people like me do not. But you must. I know that there are other ways to feed our planet's people and our pocketbooks than to further destroy our planet as corporations would have us do. Mahalo for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Going back to Waimea, your next 2 testifiers, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have Chris English, who represents the Hawaii Cattlemen's Council, and he's in opposition of 113. And we also have Jennifer Michaela, who represents herself in support of 113.
Aloha, council members. My name is Chris English. I'm Vice President of the Hawaii Cattlemen's Council, which is a statewide organization comprised of 5 county cattlemen associations. We have around 130 members representing 60,000 head of beef cattle, or approximately 75% of all beef cows in the state of Hawaii. Ranchers are stewards of approximately 25% of the state's total land mass. The Hawaii Cattlemen's Council is strongly opposed to Bill 113, Draft 3. HCC does support all types of farming and ranching, whether it's natural, organic, or conventional, or cutting edge. 90% of Hawaiian calves are shipped to the mainland for pasture and feeding. We have an increasing demand for local beef, and we're working very hard despite drought conditions to increase the supply of locally finished beef. I believe it's short-sighted to turn our back on technology, which could get us over the hump for finishing more cattle here in the state. Almost 80% of the beef cattle and 100% of the dairy cattle in the state are on this island, so it just drives the point home that we need technology to be able to increase our production here. Thank you for your time. Aloha.
Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I'm a farmer and a beekeeper and a mom, and I live in Hawaii and Waimea. And I just wanted to say it seems really clear to me that it's an issue of money versus life. And the companies that are coming in and benefiting from this are the same companies that manufacture Zyklon B, which is the gas responsible for taking out my entire lineage. And they don't care about life. And we need you guys to care about life more than money. And I do. And I do for my kids, and I do for your kids too. And I hope that you guys can see that that's the real issue. And no matter what other information's out there, I think we all need to rally around the community that does suffer hardship when you do pass this bill and help them find better ways and alternatives that actually work, help them feed their cattle, help them finish the cattle on this island, I think the community will rally around those people and help do it in a way that doesn't jeopardize anybody's life or anybody's land or the bees or the people or the future or anything else. There's other solutions. And this is not technology. Nature is technology. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm just reminding you again, no applause. Thank you. Next testifier in Kohala, or was that the second one in Kohala?
That was Waimea, Chair.
I mean Waimea. That was your, how many more do you have? Waimea and Dave?
I have 2 more in Waimea.
Oh, you have 2 more. Okay, I'll come back to you and take Kohala.
Good afternoon from beautiful, sunny Kohala. Our next testifier is Dr. Alan Thal, representing himself, Holistic Health Hawaii, in support of Bill 113.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to say that if you get a splinter in your finger and you look at what happens to it, it turns red, it gets inflamed. The same thing happens if you take GMO crop into your body. It gets it inflames your body because it's a space alien to the human being. And the toxic insecticides have produced a doubling of food allergies and disorders such as autism, reproductive disorders, digestive problems, and others are on the rise since we started this. For your children, you're giving bovine growth hormone laced milk. That is directly linked with cancer. Where people talk about the yields, non-GMO agricultural methods used in developing countries have resulted in yield increases of 79% and higher. GMOs do not, on average, increase yields at all. Roundup, for example, is linked with sterility, hormone disruption, birth defects, and cancer. And I think that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Our next testifier from Kohala is Christy Krantz, representing herself, speaking in support of Bill 113.
Aloha, Council. Been some excellent testimony already today in support of Bill 113, so I won't be redundant. I just want to say that I support all of that. I agree with it. I'm a beekeeper here in North Kohala as well as an organic gardener, and I would like to see the bill passed because I would like to see the bees live. I would like to see the people that eat the food here live. I would like to see our island remain pristine. And I strongly support Bill 113 and banning GMOs entirely on the Big Island of Hawaii.
Thank you. I'd like to move over to Pahoa now.
First, I have Ms. Toby Hazel representing herself. Following her will be Ms. Julia Paul, representing Pahoa Properties LLC, both in support.
Hi, hello, Chairman and Council. It's hard to fit in all your thoughts in 2 minutes. For all the death and dangerous disruption that could come without evaluating GMO thoroughly before using it. I support the bill. I hope that we can improve upon it. I think the problem here is, synthetic biology wants to speed. We need to have these speeding limits, just like when you drive down any ordinary road. Synthetic biology just thinks that they can take over the world right now. I mean, it surprises me that natural is dead. That's really something. Maybe along with slow food, slow evolution isn't such a bad thing. And to quickly change these things without understanding their impact seems like we are talking about devastation. I don't even know why. We should also have no whining. I mean, a $100 permit to track things seems okay. Asking for new, potentially unsafe things to be grown indoors seems okay. Again, I think it's the issue of speeding. And I really have to say that this is not to create food self-sufficiency for the Big Island. I mean, are they speeding mostly for export crops and money? It's not to help us here. And, weren't there like hundreds and millions of people who protested the nuclear power plants from the 50s down to the present? And look at the mess we're in now. We're in a big mess now because we couldn't say no from the beginning. Anyhow, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Julia Paul, and I actually own Pahoa Properties LLC, a real estate company here in Pahoa. And we're not down here just because we don't have anything to do. I have a job. I've come and testified many times, just as everyone else here. And we sure hope that you are listening and not just blowing everybody off, because we do. It takes us time and money to all bring us here, all of us, the county council, every single person that's testifying, whether they're for or against. And I've got to tell you, I'm in favor of this bill. I would like to see it strengthened. I think that we cannot guarantee that my daughter and my future grandchildren are safe eating grass-fed, not grass-fed beef, but GMO corn-fed beef, or GMO corn-fed dairy cows. I don't want that, and I think we should have a choice, and we don't have a choice. Right now, GMOs are being rammed down our throat. Everything in the grocery store practically is GMO. We don't have a choice, and I think people deserve a choice. I think that my grandchildren, my daughter, everybody on this island has a right to eat food that is good for them, that's been thoroughly tested, and believe me, I don't count on the FDA to do that. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Please pass the bill.
Thank you very much. I'm going to come and take the two testifiers here in Hilo, and when they are finished, we'll take a 10-minute recess. So start with Alan Cachero.
Hello, my name is Alan Cachero. I'm here on behalf of A&T Palmy's papaya farms. I represent 14 hard-working papaya workers. There's a lot at stake here. Our papaya farms basically financially sustains us, and for the past 15 years has kept 14 families very much alive. If this bill is not opposed, what happens to the industry? What happens to our families? I come from a hard place, Minoli, 72 with the population, moved over to Kau, saw your sugar plantation get run down, and then now it's the papaya industry. If you had the choice to go ahead and pick on what you wanted to eat and what you didn't want to eat, that's your choice. Then you shouldn't buy it, you shouldn't eat it. But as far as opposing this bill, I very much do. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Susan Miyasaka.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Susan Miyasaka, and I'm an agronomist at the University of Hawaii. I am providing testimony today as a private individual and not as a representative of the UH. My testimony is not biased by financial interests because I have not received any research funding from any of the seed companies. I ask you today to table County Council Bill 113. Instead, form an ad hoc committee or a task force to study this complex and controversial issue. Select scientists, representatives from state and federal regulatory agencies, healthcare professionals, and growers of organic, conventional, and genetically engineered crops. The nation is watching us. We can demonstrate how coexistence of diverse farming systems on the Big Island is possible. We can, just as we have shown how diverse ethnic and cultural groups can coexist together by respecting each other and focusing on what we have in common. Our common goal should be one of sustainability on the Big Island, both economic and environmental. We need farmers and ranchers to grow safe and healthful food crops and dairy or meat animals on this island. We need to listen to them when they tell us that they need this new agricultural biotechnology to help them farm profitably and safely. Bill 113 divides the agricultural community because it seeks to promote non-GE crops at the expense of conventional farmers and ranchers who raise or who will want to raise GE crops. Bill 113 is based on several false assumptions. I don't have time to go into all of them. I just want to point out the false assumption of Bill 113 that definitive science is lacking about whether GE crops are safe for human consumption. Thank you.
We're going to take a 10-minute recess. Thank you.
Testifying today?
I didn't want to, but I can't sit back and keep it. Anyhow.
Well, I think tomorrow is a bankruptcy hearing. They stop the sale or remove business. Oh, it's in Honolulu. And yeah, so I'm going to have to call and find out tomorrow.
Couldn't get to it if I wanted to. What's that? I couldn't get to it if I wanted to.
No, probably not.
Because I wouldn't spend the money.
Are you offering to bid?
Well, I've had some people who, yeah, they're interested.
Oh, okay.
And we would pay the full 10, I think they're 10 million on
About, but that's the loan, and then there's other money involved.
We'd take up the whole thing and not just turn down $1 million.
You're okay, you're okay.
How are you, sir?
Okie dokie. Okie dokie, folksies. We have a minute to answer questions in real time if you have real time questions. But you might like to see how it looks outside here. So this is outside chambers. It is standing room only, inside and out. There are 75 people. 75 people signed up to speak in Hilo here. At the beginning they did a count off and there was 13 in Waimea and 13 in Pahoa and 5 or 7 in Kona or something like that. Not a lot. And they haven't done, as far as I've heard, they haven't done a count since. But we have easily 100, 150 testifiers to get through today. So they're getting 2 minutes apiece. It's now 3:36. We've been at this for an hour and a half. So I have no idea what number we're on, but we're going to go for a long time. At the beginning they asked Karen, actually I think Fresh asked Karen. Jay is gone today. Jay Yoshimoto is the chair of this committee, but he is off on Oahu doing something very important for something. But he's supposed to be on his way back, so we shall see if Jay makes it here. Drew was here this morning and booked it over to Kona. So I know you can't see them all very well, but that's just how it is. My zooming is not so good. I can zoom a little, but it's still just going to be fuzzy. And the screen that we're watching is very fuzzy in real life too. So anyway, let's see, what else? Any questions? We're on a 10-minute bathroom break, so I'm charging my battery on my other camera. Somebody asked if videos will be uploaded. Yes, there should be, right below the screen you're watching, there are video on demand files, and you should be able to pull it up from there, but I've had trouble with the Livestream archives lately, not on my channel, but on all channels. So you should be able to, as soon as I hit stop, you should be able to replay it there. But if that fails, or if you would like a better looking and better sounding quality, please check out our YouTube channel. All these videos get uploaded to YouTube, which is called Occupy Hawaii, like the whole island. So I'll post the link later. I keep going to grab it and then I get distracted. People keep asking me things like, how's it going on I-522? And so if anybody can put updates in the chat box about 522 as they're happening, that would be very helpful. I tried to check Twitter. It looks like they've got 2 or 3 more hours to vote, so we don't really know anything yet. Okay, alright, so blah 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 scientists. Alright, as long as you all are good batting it out here in the chat box, I'm fine, Norman. I don't care. But if it gets to be an issue I cannot hang around and monitor the chat every second. I have to run the other camera and go plug my meter, my parking meter every once in a while. So, what else? We're sorely outnumbered. A lot. I don't know, 20 to 1, easily, probably, here in Hilo. The good news is all the other satellite sites should be pretty much pro Bill 1.3.
Is Drew out there?
Drew's in Kona.
No, did they show him?
They did, I saw him. He's sitting there right next to the testifiers at the table, so
oh, really?
I'm not sure if that's good or bad for Drew, right? Yeah, really. He's going to get an earful in between cameras, I think. That's one of the cool things, I think, actually, about going to the satellite sites, is that you can sit around and talk to each other, you know, and even here, you used to be able to do that here, but now they're getting all Nazi about being quiet. Even when the staff and everybody's in Kona, but we're here, the staff needs to hear, so they keep shushing us. So, anyway. Khan is pro 20 to 1 outnumbered.
I was inside. I mean, sitting,
yes.
I had to come on.
There are probably at noon there were 10 papaya people here, and the thing didn't start till 2. So at this point there are probably it's probably not 20 to 1. There are probably 100 papaya people here who are against the bill, and maybe 40 or 50 of us. Be generous with it. Really? She says really? I know, it's bad, y'all. It's bad. So the good news is, yes, we have a couple dozen stuffed into the satellite sites. But yeah, we've got about 100 to 30 at best. They're sprinkled all throughout. They're hiding all around the building. And I don't know that a lot of these 100 are going to actually testify. A lot of them are just, you know, stage dressing. They're just here to watch. So that's what we know about that. Norman and the tobacco industry. Fascinating. Chat is good. I like chat, but everybody be nice to each other, or I'll ban you just like the God guy from before. Don't troll God in here. Not claiming to be impartial and unbiased at all.
They had when I was sitting down, there were the papaya people, the women. They had a paper, and it says they have their lines.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they have check boxes. And they have a whole list of statements. And they just check which one they wanted to say.
Right on.
So it was like 2 or 3 pages.
Wow.
And they just check which ones they want to say, and that's it.
So they can get all their points covered.
Yeah.
Very scientific from the science community. Isn't that what happened? Did you all hear that? What she said is the other guys have cheat sheets. They all have a piece of paper with their lines written down on it, and then they check a box saying which lines they're going to say. I suppose so Richard or whoever's the king bee of the day gets to monitor everybody and make sure they get all their points across. Very interesting.
Very mindless.
It is. Followers. There are leaders and then there are followers. Ay, ay, ay. What's my analysis of the 9 council members' positions on the bill? They're closing the doors. They're closing the doors. Last time it was 6 to 2 to 1. Who voted against? Gregor will vote against. And Fresh will go against. And everybody else will probably vote for it. Or at least they better. I don't know. Maybe it's just loud out here. I don't know. They don't actually look like there's nobody here. They're just shutting the door because we're being loud, I guess. What, are we loud out there? What? I thought they were starting. I know. Okay, hold on. 1 second. Yeah, it's probably me. I keep bumping it. Sorry. Got too many cords going on here. Okay, well, we're back inside now. So we're just going to stay here now because it's too hard to get in and out of anywhere. Because it's fact. Okay. So anyway, okay, yes, that's what we think. Margaret wrote the bill. She'll vote yes. Brenda wrote her own bill. And so she'll vote yes. And Karen will probably vote yes. And Drew better vote yes. He voted yes last time. He changed his vote. He actually voted Kanalua. And after Jay voted yes, which was a switch from no to yes, then Drew voted yes too. So far we have 6, and Zendo was absent. He said he was going to vote yes too. So if he does, then we will have 7. Excuse me, which is pretty good. We're like, yay! I'm going to. She's one of the.
I told Christy about the GMO Inspector Use home trial. They said actually it all started.
How many people in Kona? I don't know. They're in the little conference room. 14 minutes. What is that, Liberty? I will check it.
And there's a police report about him for stolen property in the line. So all the biofuel land.
No, I won't check it. I can't click anything.
GMO grasses on instead.
Let's see. Oh wait, it's right here.
Thank you so much.
Let us please post some links. Okay. Alright, here. Go to this channel right now and subscribe to it. And then, anytime I upload a video, you will know about it. We cover all kinds of county council stuff. We cover other community meetings and all kinds of stuff. When State Ledge starts up, we'll cover that. We've been covering the Senate Bill 1 hearings the last couple days. Yes, Zendo is here today. He's here in Hilo. He's chatting with Margaret right now. Being all chatty. Super chatty. Who else here? Drew took off to Kona, and Jay is still missing, and all the other ones are here. The other 7. Okay, so go to that link. Click on that YouTube link. That's the channel. And many people upload to that channel. I upload a lot, but other people upload to that too. That is our Occupy Hilo channel. And do please subscribe to it. It helps. That way you don't have to look for anything. It's just right there. And also please like and comment on the videos. It makes them more popular. Makes them pop up to the top in the searches. I see Karen and Brenda are back, so we should be
I just thought you might want to know that.
back in business pretty soon. Here, I'll show you around the room a little.
Investigate the report number or the phone number, but he might be able to like show you the number. I mean the letter.
There's Brenda over there.
That's like Karen, because it involves human rights violations by the county and state, especially.
Sendo and Margaret are over there. Everybody else is hiding. They do that. They hide. Let's see. Oops. There we go. Okay. That's better. Let's see. Let's try zooming. Clicking, it's not zooming. No, I didn't think so. Zooming is not an option. Sorry. Never clicked. Thank you, Sherry. Sherry, subscribe to the channel. Okay, everybody be like Sherry.
So, yeah,
she's our first follower. And I'm not kidding. We actually have a couple hundred followers and over 1,000 videos. on the YouTube channel, so it's well worth your time. Please check it out.
So it's going to be
my personality. But it's my personality.
The question
What else? Anybody know what's going on with SB1? They were supposed to come back and start decision making at 3 o'clock. Did you hear about that?
No, I haven't.
SB1 at 3 o'clock. Let's check Twitter. What do Twitter say?
That's very likely. I would guess.
Ah, Miss Willie is our first follower. All right. Now we have Sherry. Now we're on our way. I haven't received any updates yet. Still waiting on SB1. No.
So the full
3:30. 36 minutes ago they said reconvene at 3:30. Call Road said there was a delay and they'll be back. They hopefully will be back at 3:30. Well, clearly they missed that deadline too. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, so folks at home, monitor the SB1 and monitor the 522 and let us know. Oh, I gotta go tell Bob about 522. So, hi Doug, aloha. How's it? Oh, there's Bob. He's busy. He's talking. Look, he's right there. See him? He's over there. Right there. That's Bob. And that's Tom. And that's Brenda. Oh, and Barb. Barb is over there too. I would zoom, but it's not working. Zoom in. Nope. 4:15. Thank you, Doug. SB1 decision at 4:15.
we're just having
Mark it. 4:15. We're going to legalize gay marriage at 4:15. I'm predicting. Yeah, that's what they're in recess right now, and they were supposed to come back at 3, and then Carl said, "Oops, no, we're having a snafu, maybe 3:30."
They amended it. I have to go back to the 7.
So yeah, they're doing their little tete right now. That's what they're doing.
The sky will fall after you.
I know. Poor babies. It's gonna destroy the fabric of the universe, you know. So 4:15, gay marriage legal. 4:30, we all go poof.
Probably get something out there.
Yeah. Post now. Time's a wasting. Oh man, we were gonna do a drinking game. Like every time they said one man, one woman, take a shot or something. But then we decided we'd be drunk in like 20 minutes. We can't pick anything. There's nothing you can pick that they say too much because all of them would be devastatingly drunken. No, it'd be a short evening. Remember the 5th of November. I know it's like a holiday, you know. It's like an Occupy holiday today. And it's like working on my birthday. Being here for GMO crap on my Guy Fawkes Day. Yeah. No, I'm kidding, GMO people. They heard me say GMO crap. I did not see any of the mass marches. I've been here in Chambers since 9 o'clock this morning, so we had to make sure that they upheld the sunshine law here in Hawaii County, which they did. They did good. Hawaii County. They said, yes, sunshine. Screw you, Maui. Maui's being jerks. issues on Maui. If you're watching from Maui, oh, come on, you guys. You gotta like throttle your council. They're out of hand. For reals. There you go.
Okay, mics are live.
Okay, gotta go.
So everybody please take their seat. Thank you. This meeting is being called back to order. And I'd like to take our next two testifiers in Kona.
Okay, can we make an exception and have 3 instead of 2 right now, please?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, next one is Lani Kaniwai, in support of Bill 113. Then we have Kolauer Bandera, in support of Bill 113. And then we have Joseph Simkak, in support of Bill 113. Thank you.
Hello for council. My name is Lani Kaniwai, and I'm in support of Bill 113. I'm a pretty in-the-moment person. I was raised in Honolulu on farm. Currently, my parents have an organic cacao farm. And while I was out here in the lobby during the break, I came across this, the Island Sun Weekly, dated May 23rd, 2013. And in here, on the lifestyle section, it says, this summer, use these tips to avoid injury while gardening. And this is by the State Point. It says, protect yourself. Safety goggles and gloves shield your eyes and skin from chemicals, pesticides, and protect you. I'm going to keep that real simple and short, and I'm finished. Thanks.
Thank you. And just to explain to the council members in the audience, the reason we're taking 3 in Kona at this time is because I skipped 1 on the last round. So go ahead.
Aloha, my name is Kolauer Bandera, and thank you, County Council members, for hearing my testimony and listening to Bill 113 one more time. I do indeed hope that this is the final time for all of us. First, I'll tell you, I'm representing Kona Coffee Farmers Association. We have over 250 Kona Coffee farmers, and we support the compromised version that the bill is currently in with all of the changes. And I think that although I am not fixated individually on money, I do want to tell you the reason that in 2008 Kona Coffee Farmers Association worked with the County Council on the coffee and taro ban that is in place does come down to economics, because economics for any crop essentially is going to be struggling and caused a lot of stress by GMO, and specifically high value crops like coffee will lose their entire value if GMO is permitted. And so I think that my point of saying that isn't just the economic reality, but also the truth that these things need to be looked at very carefully and very thoroughly, and all of the impacts considered before such a thing would be permitted. And I think the precautionary principle really addresses that we need to look at the environmental, but we need to look at all of the impacts. The farmers in this county are on this side of this island in Kona, and I think that I really encourage you to support this bill and vote for it so that we can continue moving forward healthily and happily, and you'll keep our farmers. So thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Yes, hello, my name is Joseph Simcox. I'm a World Food Plan Authority. I study world food security, and I'm a consultant to industry all over the world in terms of agricultural innovation. As I listen to what is happening today, I'm particularly impressed that this honorable council is even considering this motion, because what they are doing is setting the possibility of making history and literally putting the little island of Hawaii on the world map in such an extraordinary way that there will be information and media coming from all over the world, not only from CNN, BBC, all the channels, Al Jazeera, but you're actually setting precedent to receive millions and millions of dollars of free publicity to the little island of Hawaii. Now, we live in a digitalized age, and much of the information that we have is digitalized. And what we are seeing here is the fact that these academics who've come before us know more and more about less and less until they know everything about nothing. The real question is, where are the generalists? Who are the people talking about the future of food on this island? The real future of food has to do with studying and knowing the world's food plants. And I'm talking so fast here that I'm trying to remedy this by acting like John F. Kennedy. He spoke 300 words a minute. But what really is at hand is 300,000 species of plants on the planet. 12 of them are used by the majority of mankind. That means there's roughly 30,000 species of plants that have been used for food that aren't being studied. When we say knowing more and more about less and less, we aren't considering the real potential. The academics are only focusing and putting light bulbs in rooms that are already lit up. What about the plants that we can grow as new, incredible crops on this island that will spur niche markets, that will create new economies? We don't have to raise corn and papayas, which are passé and being raised by other places. How about crops which are worth 10 times as much and don't even have established pests? The academics are arguing. They think they know what they're doing. Put them with me. I've lived and explored and studied food in more than 100 countries in the world, and I assure you, the City Council, if you vote this, you are changing history and bringing a light of incredible proportion to this wonderful island. And I'm a visitor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving back to Waimea. You're next two, if you have two more.
I actually have three more. I have Roseanne Barr, who represents herself in support of Bill 113, and Jeff McKayla, who represents himself in support of Bill 113. Hello, I want to say a few things. Our country has a problem because it keeps on rewarding the wrong things and the wrong people, and this is the time to stop that. I'm for science. I really like science, and scientific testing that goes on for more than 90 days with control groups that includes genetic markers and birth defects is exactly what's needed, and also what is being opposed by Monsanto and GMO companies. To the older woman who spoke, ma'am, you're 87, but that doesn't give you the right to make my grandkids get asthma. I'm a taxpayer too. I probably pay bigger taxes than you. And, I pay my taxes because I want something back for them. And what I want back from my taxes is that my grandchildren live in a place where they are not being poisoned. And I really want to say the whole world, talk about supply and demand. I don't know where this kind of capitalism comes from. It's like communist capitalism or something. But in the world, the demand is huge for organic crops. So why would they not? Why would they think they have the right to come and poison my organic crops that I put a lot of my life's work and my life savings into raising? And now because you're 87 years old or whatever, you think you've got the right to take out my bees and my crops and to deny the Hawaiian people an economic future based on supply and demand. What is this? Are we in Russia or what? Thank you. Jeff?
Yes.
Maybe you know. Jeff, you're on.
Hi. Yes. Hi. How are you?
Okay, Jeff, you're...
Well, this is where I gotta be. Good afternoon. I'm in favor of Bill 113. I'm a farmer, a father, and a human who's concerned with GMO.
Please. I'm sorry. We'll start the time again.
Okay. My name is Jeff McCullough. Good afternoon. I'm in favor of Bill 113. I am a farmer, a father, and a human who is concerned with GMO. GMO is not the answer to the future of agriculture and safe feeding practices. The island should not be the testing grounds again for big business and its profits. We cannot afford to make this type of mistake. In regards to papaya farmers and ranchers, the profit might be there now, but will be short-lived. I'm not buying your products anymore, nor will the people when they become educated or sick. So you too should be in support of Bill 113 and produce a product that is safe and is desirable. We know that GMO is not right. I urge you to do the right thing and pass Bill 113.
Thank you. No applause, please. Okay. And Waimea, if you could adjust your camera, we could not see your second testifier.
Thank you.
Okay, and then turn your mic off. Okay, I'm going to move to Kohala. If there are 2 more testifiers there, please.
Yes, we have about 20 more signed up. Looks like some have left, but I think they're going to be back after they make the school run.
Okay.
Our next testifier, Michael Lineker, representing the United Global Mankind, in support and to make comment on Bill 113, Draft 3.
Good evening, council members. My name is Michael Lineker, and I'm a concerned American. The main thing I'm concerned are the GMO foods and those who employ to create these clone hybrid substances. GMO food, which are genes spliced to create higher crop yields, have built-in pesticide properties which are toxic to humans, and which contain top-secret DNA fragment human genes, affect health, and create disease. I truly feel that humanity is now undergoing global genocide, cleverly orchestrated by ruthless, aggressively relentless big-name companies like Monsanto, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nestle's, General Mills, and others. I'm sorry this sounds like some off-the-wall theory, but I dare say, unless we all come somewhat closer to these truths, our very existence, including our children not yet born, will be just that, a theory. I'm part of a surveyor army of grassroots activists who are committed in the ongoing battle to reclaim our food and farming system, part of a larger battle to transform the entire political and economic system. This is why I support Bill 113. I'm sorry, I'm sure many of us have learned the hard way that corporations and wealthy elite control not only the mass media, but the federal government, the Supreme Court, and the regulatory agencies such as the FDA, the USDA, and the EPA. After decades of sending petitions and lobbying the White House, Congress, and the FDA, no longer available, with no avail, became clear that the political elite care more about their wealthy campaign contributors than they do their constituents, including our 93% who support mandatory labeling genetic engineered foods and purifying the farming system. Thank you for your time.
Our next testifier is Albert Hegma, representing himself, Organic Farming, and Pacifica News, speaking in support and to make comment on Bill 113, Draft 3.
I will reiterate things I've said in previous testimony. Number 1, there's rampant corruption and collusion between government at all levels, top to bottom, even to the local levels of these small towns on the island. It's been revealed who is taking campaign money, what perks are given to communities, and the University of Hawaii by Monsanto. $80,000 was given to one particular individual to stop the GMO labeling. $200,000+ were given to other political leaders. Now I'm going to jump to another subject. How come at the Monsanto main office, some of the employees prefer organic food? How is it that 300,000 to 1 million natives lived on this island and were able to feed themselves without GMO? How is it that there were so many cows running around during the period of King Kamehameha I, originally given as a gift a few cows, that they had to cull the herds before GMO was invented? Well, it seems like it's not necessary. It seems like it's particularly for the profit of a few at the expense of the many. Recently, last evening, or this evening, because I work at night on a online news site, I ran across an article of a banned herbicide, banned 20 years before. The women were retested, and they still had the herbicide in their system, and it's known to cause infertility and womb development, fetal development outside of the womb. These things go on for generations. What is sustainable? On the Monsanto site it says sustainable. What a great lie that is. Sustainable is 300,000 to 1 million people living without foods being brought in or genetically modified foods.